Yang Mulia Tan Sri Datuk Paduka Tengku Nur Zakiah Tengku Ismail, the founder and advisor of Kenanga Group. Yang Amat Mulia Tan Sri Datuk Sri Said Zainul Anwar Ibn Said Putra Jamulai, the chairman of Kenanga Investment Bank Berhad. Yang berbahagia Datuk Che Wai Leong, the group managing director of Kenanga Investment Bank Berhad. Yang Berusaha Mr. Bruce Doris, the president and chief executive officer for the Association of Certified Fraud Examiners, ACFE, Board of Directors of Kenanga Group, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh, and very good morning to all. Alhamdulillah, with the grace of Allah, it humbles me to join all of you here, virtually, in this opening ceremony of the Fraud Awareness Week 2020, Kenanga Investment Bank Berhad. Let me begin by expressing my gratitude to the KIBB Group for inviting me to deliver the keynote address for today's event. I am indeed honored to grace the occasion. With the theme of ethics and integrity, culture for combating fraud in the new normal, this event will provide the best platform for all participants to share knowledge, experience, and perspective, forge new networks, as well as strengthen our cooperation in fighting fraud. Ladies and gentlemen, corruption is mother of all evils. As the saying goes, this cannot be further than the truth. Corruption is the root for most challenges we face today, as such social disparity, poor delivery of public services, and transnational crimes like human trafficking and smuggling. Corruption includes bribery, false claim, and abuse of power. Nowadays, corruption has evolved to those that are more complex and syndicated in nature. Thus, we foresee the changes in corruption typologies to extend towards economic crimes which involve fraud and malpractices. As an enforcement agency that positions itself as a specific body designed to investigate corruption cases, it is our call of duty to be part of this impactful event. Dear guests, MECC's priorities can be summarized in three key areas, that is law enforcement, public procurement, and grand corruption cases. These are aligned with the national agenda of fighting corruption and transform Malaysia towards developed and high-income nation. Procurement and grand corruption are always intertwined. Both areas often involve those in charge of governance, those who have authorities whereby there are cases that include political exposed persons. Clearly, there are no industries that are immune from fraud, whether in the public or private sectors, government-linked companies, government-owned companies, or even NGOs. Every year, billions of ringgit are spent by the government to procure goods and services in order to serve the citizens by way of infrastructure projects, economic and social projects, education, health, defense, security, and many more. These lucrative projects may lead to the possibilities of corruption or using improper channels to secure government contracts outside the standard procurement procedures. The provision of Section 17 capital A of MECC Act 2009 now includes the determination of the corporate sectors from offering gratification. Section 17 capital A has come into effect on the 1st June 2020. Under this new provision, a commercial organization could be prosecuted if anyone associated with the organization commits a corrupt act for the interest or advantage of the said organization. The company is liable if it fails to prove that it has taken adequate measures to prevent the occurrence of corrupt practices in their business dealings. Ladies and gentlemen, financial institutions are always being exposed to fraud and money laundering as a safe haven to conceal, transact, and convert the illegal proceeds. Thus, it is crucial to protect our financial system from being abused and used as a medium for illegal activities and money laundering. If our financial institutions are being blamed or penalized, Due to failure to report on suspicious transactions to the relevant authorities, it will ultimately tarnish the reputation and image of our financial institutions. Criminals are creative in finding loopholes to bypass customer due diligence measures that have been put in place and exploiting various financial instruments to conduct illegal activities through trade finance facilities, insurance, wire transfer, and many more. With the latest development in technology and information system today, the modus operandi of the perpetrators continue to evolve and becoming more and more complex. The fraudulent acts are concealed through various layering of records and documentation, and the conversion of the ill-gotten proceeds are done through new medium such as visual assets, underground traders, cross-border financial institutions, as well as offshore financial services. One apparent example is a case related to one major development Berhad. In this case, an investment company in Hong Kong was used as a vehicle to uphold fund amounting to 600 million ringgit in 2011. Some years later, the same fund was transferred back into the country, layered using multiple accounts held by different companies with different banks, netting 378 million ringgit, which was subsequently withdrawn. This is one of the examples of how criminals make use of a banking system to launder proceeds of crimes. An emerging trend we encounter now is that the criminals are avoiding transacting with banks. They prefer to hold cash. In the recent Macau scam schemes, the syndicates crashed and the center was operating like a bank. It was allegedly they had transacted billions of ringgit over the past 5 years by using financial technology or fintech as a platform to conduct transactions. Financial institution role as a frontliners in the fight against fraudsters is paramount because financial frauds, kickbacks from corrupt activities, and money laundering are often reflected in financial institutions. Transactions, especially those involving high-risk customers, should be scrutinized in terms of sources of the fund and where the money goes. As for MECC, we have our own approach in detecting and investigating corruption. However, continuous collaboration with regulators, financial institutions, and enforcement agencies are very much demanded. The cooperation can be in the form of knowledge and information sharing, as well as proactive reports on suspicious financial activities that are very crucial in the process of investigation as red flags for possible commission of offenses. Ladies and gentlemen, we speak a lot about how combating fraud is shared responsibility. This is because of its massive impact to governments, businesses, and individuals. Whilst the COVID-19 pandemic has impacted the domestic economy, our focus will be to reduce the leakage of public money and return back the ill-gotten proceeds as revenue to our country through the recovery of assets process. Most of us would agree that corruption, whether in the public sectors or the private sectors, cannot be completely eradicated. In upcoming years, we foresee the tendency for corruption and abuse of power to happen will increase due to vulnerable and complex environment we are facing right now. The fight against corruption is an ethical imperative that must be pursued even with challenges brought by the current new normal situation. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you again to KIBB, and I would like to congratulate the leadership of Kenanga Investment Bank Berhad Group for hosting this event. I strongly hope that MECC and Kenanga can further strengthen the already existing bond. Last but not least, on behalf of MECC, I would like to express my highest appreciation to all the distinguished guests, and I would like to wish every participant a successful Fraud Awareness Week. With this word and Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, it gives me a great pleasure to officiate the opening of Kenanga Fraud Awareness Week 2020. Thank you. Wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh.